Hello and welcome. We got people piling in here. We'll wait till everybody gets in. I am Mike Stadola from MSP Success Magazine, and we've got a number of presenters who are going to be on with us today, but we'll wait just a second to kind of bring them in. Well, you guys are getting on and getting in. Just wanted to go over a couple things. We have both a chat and a Q&A in here, but if right now for the chat, you just want to let us know, have you ever used any Malwarebytes product in the past? I mean, I know they've been around, I don't know, like decades. Can I swear I used you guys? I don't know if I was in college or it was my first business, like your free antivirus thing. I think that's how almost everyone was probably introduced to you guys initially. So can you put in the chat, just put where you're listening in from, watching in from, and then have you used any of the Malwarebytes? And it could be going back decades at this point.
2008 was when we officially became a company.
Okay,
so.
okay, 2008. So yeah, that would have been, I owned a real estate business and we were doing, it was a startup just about then. And so that explains, I was doing everything as inexpensively as possible. And obviously back then, I think antivirus was all I knew about with cybersecurity. Like that was kind of what you needed, especially if you were a business with nothing at all. So let's see. So we've got the chat and the Q&A. I'll go over that in a second, but throw in the chat where you're watching in from. And then did you ever use the Malwarebytes products with that? And then if you have questions during this, if you can put those into Q&A, it's just a lot easier for us then to keep track of those questions. We'll make sure they get answered either privately one-on-one by the folks you got on, or most of them, this is really kind of more of a fireside chat, a discussion, a learning session for you to get introduced. I know we've got 5 or 6 topics we want to go through. It's the most common questions, concerns, including how the heck do you profit from MDR? But we'll go through that. So, and then if you really have a question that you want to be brought on, we can unmute you and you can speak directly with the experts on here. So it looks like we're slowed down on people jumping in. So we got Holly in Texas. Oh, hey, Holly. We got Izzy in North Jersey. Yeah, used Malwarebytes. We got Leominster, Massachusetts. Yep, used it. Chicago, yes. Sacramento, SoCal. Oh, Justin. Hey, Justin. So, okay, very cool. So with that, we can, let's see, we got, okay, a participant enabled closed captioning. Okay, cool. So I'll try and talk a little bit slower so that the closed captioning can actually work on this with that. But again, for those of you who haven't met, I'm Mike Stadola with the MSP Success Magazine team here, and we got a special, I think this is actually the first time we've done a live cast this exact way. A couple months ago, we were working with Malwarebytes, and they came out to you, talked a lot about MDR, kind of did that more as a webinar format, some demo, did the full run through really as an education session. And that went real well. And we had a lot of people with a lot of good questions. And so we asked them back and said, hey, can you do almost like, it's kind of almost like a peer forum, but can we do kind of this chat where you answer your most frequently asked questions, kind of give a rundown on what is MDR, who it's for, how do you know if you need it, do you bring it inside or should you use an outsourced service, and then how the heck as a business owner do you profit from MDR and know if you even want to offer this. So those are some of the things they're going to discuss today. This will not be a big slide heavy presentation on that. If you want that, you can certainly check out mspsuccessmagazine.com, and we do have that full presentation on there, and at some point here we can link to that. But today you're going to get all your questions answered. So I know we've seen a lot in the TMTQ with questions revolving around MDR. So that's what we really asked them to discuss today and bring on. So with that, let's see, I think we'll have TJ kick it off and kind of introduce the team that you guys have brought with you.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. I'm going to share some slides so everybody can kind of see what's going on here, and then we'll get started. So definitely thank everyone for joining us today. Today, what we're here for is the 6 most pressing questions most MSPs have when shopping for MDR solutions. So this webinar is going to be action-packed. So let's just get started. Let's jump into this. So obviously my name's TJ Minson. I'm the channel development manager for Malwarebytes, primarily work with the MSPs. In addition to that, I want to introduce Eddie Phillips, who is the MSP Global Training Manager at Malwarebytes. Throughout Eddie's career, he has owned and operated a few MSPs, and he has faced many challenges you guys face today. As an owner-operator, he is a skilled technician and engineer, and in his own words, he has said he's kind of learned everything in the hard way. So he is an exceptional resource and someone to consider connecting with. Next, we have Jared Boyd, who is the Senior Solutions Engineer at Malwarebytes. Jared is a pleasure to work with. Extremely technical, but he's also a fantastic personality. So he has really good for business conversations. He can bring that together. He has a knack for explaining very difficult things in a very easy and simple way. So then what I want to do is I really appreciate you guys kind of jumping in today. I want to talk kind of next about the slide. These are the common questions. So I really want to kick this off and just start off right at the top. What is MDR exactly? So Eddie, would you like to kick that off? Jared, who would like to kind of tackle that first one?
Yeah, sure. I can kick it off, and then Jared, I'll get you to fill in the blanks wherever I don't. But
Yeah, most definitely.
awesome. So let me take a step back and talk to you about. So there was a point in time in 2014 where I merged my MSP with another MSP, and just to kind of maybe set the stage for today's discussion. And what had happened was myself and my new partners had gone to Boston for an event. And while we were there, it was a Friday. It was a Friday late afternoon, and we got a frantic call from one of our technicians indicating that one of our biggest client, actually our biggest client at the time, got hit by ransomware. And it couldn't have been a worse possible time. This client was a very large clothing manufacturer, and they were just about to put together their winter catalog when they got hit by ransomware. And we're not just talking, some data here and there. At the time, they were running around with about 4 terabytes of data, including their videos and their images and that sort of thing. And we did not have MDR. In fact, back then we barely had what you'd consider EDR. And so this was a pivotal moment in time where here we are in Boston, trying to work remotely to get our client back up and running. And you can imagine we were sweating bullets. We eventually did get things back together. Thankfully, we did have a bit of an incident response plan, and we had a phenomenal disaster recovery plan. But avoiding those types of scenarios is absolutely key. And this is when our eyes began to open on just how much the cybersecurity landscape had changed. Now, it's been a long time since 2014. Our vendors, software companies have come a long way. And so now MDR is the key to having that extra level of service, right? So unless you're an MSP that is absolutely flush with resources and you're working 24/7, maybe not as big of a deal, although trying to find those types of resources, we know just as well as anybody else how hard that is. So MDR is essentially a cybersecurity service, right? From a security operations center that allows you to continue to have your endpoints monitored. How's that for a summary, Jared?
That's perfect. And I mean, that's exactly it. So I mean, that nails it. So the whole idea with MDR really is, so imagine someone gave you a security camera, right? And you have all the visibility in the world. You can see everything. Cool. I have all this awesome data. What the heck am I going to do with it? I'm trying to sell to my clients, but now I also have to manage these kind of internal threats, and I'm not going to see everything, right? Something might get through the cracks because we're human, right? MDR allows you to have a force multiplier, right? So you guys yes, our EDR, Malwarebytes EDRs, incredibly simple to use. I mean, we even color code the thing. Red equals bad. To remediate, you click remediate, right? But when you go into actually the process graph and you're looking at it and you're like, okay, is this actually a threat or not? Like, I see it did this weird call out, and then you having to use all your Google foo, and then you're going to have to contact into Malwarebytes and double check with one of our guys, and you're going to have to, go in, do your own research. It can get a little bit messy. With MDR, it's like you've just hired on a full team SOC analysts, right? And Malwarebytes, yes, I know Malwarebytes took a little bit to get to market with our MDR compared to some of our competitors. But when we were building it out, we wanted to make sure that we built out the best team possible. I think our MDR analysts, the one they're all tier 2 and tier 3 analysts. They all have I think the lowest amount of experience is like 5 years. The rest have like 10 plus years in the space, in the industry. And their whole job is to literally watch your environment through Malwarebytes, through the agent that you would already have installed. So there's no invasive, like, oh, we got to put some traps in your environment. Oh, we're going to have to install all these different agents to do all these little things. It's already using the information that we're already gathering. And not only are they responding to, potential, post execution events, but things that Malwarebytes had already blocked. So if I blocked something like a website, I would be like, well, this website that we just blocked, this IP that we just blocked, I saw the same thing in Georgia a couple months ago, and it was related to TrickBot. I'm able to build out these playbooks and kind of, better, fulfill the needs of the clients. And the thing is, we're helping you, right? It's less work on your end, because we would get a hold of you guys, be like, hey, we found this thing. We did it. You can choose whether we do, whether we take action or not. Do you want us just to give you kind of a write up, like, hey, we found this potential threat. Do you guys want to take care of it? Here's our recommendations. Or Malwarebytes will take care of it for you and be like, hey, we found this threat. Here's how we took care of it. Here's what we recommend as far as messaging. Here's what we recommend as far as moving forward to prevent it. And it's just really a kind of a great service to add there.
No, I really appreciate that, Jared. Thank you for kind of adding a little bit more clarity around that. So Eddie, how should an MSP determine if they do need MDR?
So this is, I get this question a lot, actually, and it really boils down to the specific MSP. And I'm going to say, in 90% of the cases, I mean, there are those MSPs that are just so large that they have the resources to have their own SOC, to be able to monitor 24/7 and respond to EDR, whenever those alerts come through. But the reality is that the majority of MSPs just don't have that, available to them, right? I mean, the cost of setting up your own SOC is astronomical. Even the cost of trying to find the right resources from a personnel perspective, and then having that after-hour service can put a lot of load on an MSP, right? So if you're not an MSP, if you're not an MSP that has those types of capabilities behind your doors, then MDR is perfect, right? MDR is that added coverage for those hours that your doors aren't open, that your techs may not be looking at it. And to be really honest, freeing up a technician or not having to get someone who is a certified SOC analyst and relying on an MDR, even during business hours, is ideal, right? Because you're having someone who has the training and the experience to deal with an incident when it happens. So ideally, the first scenario is an MSP that wants to expand that type of security and just does not have does not have those types of resources. The other scenario is if you're looking to pay more attention to your SLAs, right? I mean, the worst thing that you can possibly want to walk into as an MSP owner or as a tech for an MSP is an alert that maybe sat all weekend long or sat all night long, and you're just now getting it. I can't think of a worse way to wreck your entire week is walking on a Monday and find out that one of your clients has an alert that's been sitting all weekend, right? And so it's just a way to start supplementing your services.
Exactly. And it's one of those things too. You're taking out kind of, obviously the engines have gotten so good with these EDR and AV providers that, they can pretty much walk on their own, but now you're implementing the human resource, right? That's going to be able to see those little nuances, those little tiny connections that, just AI machine learning is not going to pick up on. Right. So you've really you're just increasing or widening that kind of security step.
So, and I know we're going to get into some strategies to sell MDR to MSPs, and that's coming up next. But this is where anyone on here who's watching, if you got questions more related around MDR, if you need MDR, how to know anything like that, or about those strategies, make sure you do throw them into the question box. Again, they will answer anything and everything that they can. And of course, we will be doing that $500 drawing as well in a little bit here. So do go ahead and enter those questions in.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
So what are some of those strategies then, really to sell MDR to MSP clients as you move forward, Eddie?
So my first comment is like, it's kind of like planting trees. When's the best time to plant a tree? And that's 20 years ago. Second best is today. So I kind of feel the same way about any sort of cybersecurity solution. The best time to sell your security to your existing clients is 5 years ago, like beginning to build that cybersecurity culture so that your client is educated enough that they know that this is a moving target. They know that month after month, new threats are coming out. There's new strategies to get around it. And so that's always my first step. My first recommendation is create that interactive two-way conversation with your client on an ongoing basis, so that when you come to them with a new, backup disaster recovery plan, it's not going to be, man, you just came to me last week and sold me EDR. It's having that conversation, having that understanding, that education. So that's number one way that I always recommend. Secondly, it comes down to the reality of the environment we live in today, just like any other business. Just like if you are a manufacturer and you have to buy steel, well, guess what? The cost of steel is going up astronomically right now. And so in a related way, cybersecurity is changing. The threats are becoming real. It's not only the end user, that's a computer, that is, the threat. There are new exploits being discovered every day, and cyber criminals aren't waiting to just use social engineering to distribute malware or any other type of exploits. They are scanning firewalls. They are, scanning services. They're breaking into cloud services. So I think it comes down to making sure that your clients have an understanding of where the business is going.
Oh, fantastic. What should a customer expect a partner of ours from Malwarebytes, from the MDR team, in the event there is an incident?
So there's a couple different ways they'll get a hold of you. So there's an active wall within the console that will have, like, your chat sessions basically back and forth. So you can do like a live chat with the MDR analyst. If it is a critical event, something that they know is muy importante, they're going to call you. And you'll be able to input, whatever kind of contact numbers you want. They will call you and let you know, hey, we're currently working on this right as we speak. And obviously, any updates they make, any changes they make, are going to be updated within the MDR portal that we have within the console.
Oh, fantastic. And then, what is the best kept secret about Malwarebytes that you wish every MSP knew?
We have a business tool.
It's funny. I still have so many MSPs that come up to us, and like when I was at DataCon, and so many MSPs go, "Oh wow, Malwarebytes, you guys are still around. What are you doing now?" So I think, there's definitely an awareness piece here where, you know what? Not only has Malwarebytes moved beyond that incident response tool that we published years ago, but we are toe to toe with the biggest competitors out there when it comes to EDR. And now we're competing at the MDR level as well.
Well, that's the funny thing. You look at like MRGF attacks. You look at the MITRE reports. Like we're neck and neck, right, with the CrowdStrikes, the Scent ones. The guys that are like Gartner's babies, right? And it doesn't really get heard that much, especially in the marketing. Our free tool has been kind of a double-edged sword, right? Everyone knows us. But they only know us for that free tool, when in fact we do have a world-class EDR solution. We now have this absolutely incredible MDR solution in there. Not to mention our scanner is still incredibly popular. I got customers that are running other EDR, MDR solutions, and they're still utilizing our scanning technology to clean up those messes, right? Like, hey, my EDR solution that it acts like a mall security cop has notified me that I'm currently being hit with something, but I have no way to clean it up without re-imaging. I need Malwarebytes scanner, right? So it's we've really grown over the years, and that's thanks to everyone on the everyone in the chat, anyone who's downloaded Malwarebytes, the free variant, or used the consumer variant, or even the business variant before. It's all that telemetry that we get. I mean, we get downloaded 350,000 times a day. At any given point, there could be 20 million machines out there in the world running Malwarebytes. That data doesn't go to waste. We use that data to build our engines to, go after these new threats that are hitting the world.
Yeah, and I think maybe just to add on to that, we're focusing a lot on EDR and MDR because this is what we're here to talk about. But if I want to share some of the best kept secrets I wish more MSPs knew about Malwarebytes was some of the add-ons that. So let me rewind. So first off, about a year ago, Malwarebytes did a big adjustment leadership-wise as far as more focus on MSPs. They brought on some really great resources. The entire reason that I was approached after selling my MSP was because Malwarebytes wanted to understand more of the pain points of MSPs. They wanted to make sure they were making a connection. And so add-ons like vulnerability scanning, patch management, there you go, patch management, DNS filtering, these are all tools that are built into the OneView agent, OneView being our multi-tenant solution for MSPs. And so I'm super excited about that. And typically I have to explain the fact that, we do have OneView now and the way that MSPs can leverage it before I even get a chance to talk about the add-ons. I would definitely want more MSPs to know that.
So we've got several questions here, and I'm sure more will come in as we talk about it, but two related questions. I'm kind of taking a step back. I got the question, what's the difference between EDR, MDR, and XDR?
I can field that one. So EDR is endpoint detection and response, right? So that would be, we're giving you all the information. You get the process graph. You can see it up in the console that shows you this is the active threat that's currently running. Here's what it's doing within your environment. But it's up to you to parse that data and then make a decision and actually take action on that threat, right? So it's more of the manual idea, right? I bought the security camera, but I have to monitor it myself. MDR is managed detection and response. And what that will be is you would have the security camera, but you're having someone else monitor it for you 24/7, 365, right? Someone who's an analyst whose years of experience makes them good at that gig. XDR is EDR plus networking, right? So instead of just gathering information from the endpoint point of view, you're also gathering information from, your firewalls, your switches, your routers, maybe some traps if you have those, packet captures systems if you have those, and you're correlating that data, right? So that you're utilizing kind of a full suite. And usually you'll run into that with the Ciscos, the Sophoses, the people who have actual network equipment that they put into the environment.
Gotcha. And just as a follow-up, we got one person saying, hey, they use EDR, but it has a SOC and human intervention in that. Is EDR versus MDR, is that just your definitions, or what would you say that they have, or how would you describe that? So if they have an EDR with SOC and human intervention.
That would be like MDR.
Okay.
That's essentially MDR, but you've built it in house, right? Or you paid another. You'll run into a lot of these, a lot of companies out there that sell MDR. I believe Arctic Wolf is one of them. I think Red Canary. They don't actually make their own endpoint detection platform, right? They don't Malwarebytes, Symantec, Sophos, CrowdStrike, whoever. They don't have their own agents, but they leverage whatever agents you have and then do the correlation for you, right? So they're like, okay, you provide us the tools, we'll then do the analysis for you, right?
Perfect. And if anyone on here wants to come on and ask the questions, if it's a little bit more involved and you don't want to type 42 times, just let me know, and I can probably unmute you if you're in a place that you can talk. I like how Malcolm put it. He goes, so basically, me is EDR for security. He said if he has an ADT security system, that's equivalent to MDR. If he has an ADT with private security, is that equivalent to XDR?
Pretty much.
Then,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I mean, because
Okay.
private security would be like your network,
do.
right? So you got
I like
people
that.
walking around your environment. Yeah.
Hey,
okay,
Jared, correct me if I'm wrong, but XDR doesn't always come with any sort of a management though, right? Isn't XDR can be just log? I mean, it's a bit of a marketing term, I think.
It can be just logging. I've run into
logging.
yeah,
you
I've
have
run
to be
into
careful. Yeah.
I've run into XDR. They're like, we got XDR, and then you look at it, it's like a giant Splunk. It's just Splunk.
Yeah.
it's like wait, those are syslogs. Now I got to parse all those syslogs, right? So now I got to pay someone to parse all that syslog info. So it's kind of a slippery slope. When we first got into it, it kind of reminded me of packet capture, right? Because people would be like, "Oh, I'm monitoring my network." It's like, "How are you monitoring your network?" "Oh, we have a packet capture probe." I'm like, "Okay." Are you actually parsing all that data? And they'd be like, "Oh, no. You know, we have all the data. Technically, everything is there, but you know, are you actually correlating it? Are you actually going through it and parsing through it, looking for what you need?" And that's what we ran into a lot in the EDR space. Was a lot of these companies were coming out. They're like, "We're going to give you all the information you could ever use in the world." And then most of the people jumped on it. They're like, "This is new, exciting." You know, you'll hear, I think Cisco back in like 2015, application visibility control. That's all they ever preached. They're like, "Oh, visibility. So now you gave these customers all the visibility, but they didn't know what to do with it. You know, so that's where now it's kind of turned into, all right, MDR started out where it's like, okay, I'm going to give you all this information. You sure can't parse it, but I can parse it. How about you pay me more money and I'll parse it for you? With us, when we met, this is what took us a little bit longer to come out to, was, hey, we built an EDR platform that's going to give you all that information. We're going to parse it for you on our console, highlight it with colors, and like I said, like make it easy to read. And then if you want MDR, more or less, you're just adding that 24/7, 365 security analyst to help you, to be an asset to you. You know, you don't necessarily need them because of how easy it is, but it does give you that kind of safety net where you have someone else watching over your shoulder to help you.
okay, that's perfect. And for everyone listening, this is funny because I was talking with a group of MSPs earlier today, and more on the marketing side of things. But we were talking about that there's really three things you can sell. I'll call it the lowest level, though it doesn't mean it's not valuable. Just the first level is selling information, and that's kind of like this EDR, or especially early on EDR, where it just tells you what's happening. The second level that people will pay more for and want more is interpretation of that information. So like they mentioned that they've got little red bar comes up saying, "Hey, this is actually something you got to pay attention to here. Like check this out." So that's interpretation, and then that third level is application of that information and interpretation. So now, what the hell do you do with that information now that you know it's bad?
Yeah.
With that, so they're talking about these three levels here and selling. It's either level 1, 2, or 3 that you want or you need for you. So again, further questions, and got a couple others that we're moving into. So this one's a little specific, but we've got several people with specific questions, and that's why we're here. Tim says, how does Malwarebytes compare with other solutions like SentinelOne and Sophos?
We compete neck and neck with those guys. As far as the EDR, kind of the cool thing, again, this is something you guys will want to look into, like MRG Effitos, which is a third party probably my favorite third party testing, because they don't take any money from the companies, right? So they're just like, hey, we're going to send a nuke against your product, and if it fails, bummer. Same with MITRE, MITRE. If you guys look at the MITRE testing, we're right alongside those guys. Actually, I haven't seen Sophos so much in like the top 5 as much, but SentOne, you'll hear SentOne quite a bit because their marketing is incredible, and CrowdStrike. So you'll run into those two quite often, and we run neck and neck with those. Actually, out of the box, if you just bought Malwarebytes and you didn't do anything to it, you just said turn it on and install it and walk away, out of the box, we have better detections, which is great. You don't have to do any kind of fine tuning. And again, that comes from us having as many downloads as we had. We've been able to tune the system across everyone's environment. I mean, when I install Malwarebytes on like my 74-year-old mother's machine, she's not going to sit there and customize her Malwarebytes solution to allow QuickBooks 2004 to open, right? So coming from that consumer space, we've been able to really fine tune and get those detections dialed in.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Jared, because from an MSP perspective, I know what it was like to have a dozen different tools. So you've got your MDR, fine, but then you've got your firewall, you're monitoring that service, you've got your cloud security services, you've got your RMM, you're managing that and patching and all the projects that you're doing and the tickets and everything else. So the less you have to go in and mess with a piece of software, like the fact that Malwarebytes scored 100% on no delays or modifications in the MITRE attacks does not get enough love. Like that is so big for an MSP not to have to, okay, great, I deployed my solution now. Okay, now what do I have to do to make it work properly? Like if you don't have to go through that step and you don't have to be worried about, misconfiguration because it's configured out of the box, that what a load off of an MSP's mind.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and just to follow up on that, and I think his ears perked up when he heard Sentinel-1, because he's asking, hey, we utilize Sentinel-1 EDR. Will your MDR integrate with them, or is this like a replacement?
It would be a replacement. It would be a replacement. So we're using Malwarebytes technology, like the actual our own agent, to gather that information on that machine, and then do our analysis off of that information that we're getting. We do, though, in some regard. So Malwarebytes, I'll just break it down. So Malwarebytes, when you guys get it and you guys are selling it to clients, you get 3 different kind of modes or key SKUs, if you will. You'll have what we call incident response, IR, which is just the scanner. So that, in that case, if you're running like a Sent1, or you're running a CrowdStrike or Sophos, or God, for McAfee, Symantec, whoever, you can install Malwarebytes to run alongside as a companion product. So a lot of these guys are really good at like cutting the head off the snake, right? When it comes to like TrickBot, Emotet, Lockbit, they're able to get that initial threat, but they miss out on like DLLs or LNK files or registry artifacts. So you'd have Malwarebytes as a supplement to go in and act like a janitor. Like, oh, hey, you missed this little piece. Let me grab that for you. Let me clean that out of there. That way you don't have to reimage the machine, right? So that's IR. EP, endpoint protection, that's Malwarebytes next gen AV. Now I say AV, it does more than just antivirus. Antivirus is kind of an antiquated term at this point because viruses are rare, but it does anti-malware, anti-ransomware, anti-spyware, anti-bloatware. It kind of covers that. It would be the equivalent of like a Windows Defender or a Sophos Intercept X, or I don't know, again, McAfee Symantec, like SEP, right? You have that. That's going to cover, with Malwarebytes endpoint protection, with those real-time layers, you're covering about 99.89% of threats. That's our current rate for detection. EDR then stacks on top of that. So EDR, you get the scanner, you get the real-time protections, but then you get these post-execution capabilities. If something were to somehow get through all those other layers that we have in place and launch on your machine, we're monitoring it, we're watching it, this process, and then we'll jot down if it steps out of line. Like say, I don't know, you had a Word document kick off, it opened up a PowerShell and did like data gathering command line. We'd raise our hands and be like, whoa, that's suspicious. Let's put that up in the console and alert you to it, right? And then you could go in, isolate the machine if you want, remediate the machine if you want, do whatever you need with that data. And then MDR is an add-on to that, where basically you would have a Malwarebytes analyst that would be watching all the detection information coming in from the real-time protection layers, along with anything that could be possibly getting through as far as like rogue processes that are just running on your machine. And we're then correlating that data with our own, we have third-party threat feeds that we're looking at as well to then take action or, give advice if you've chosen that route. Right.
Okay.
But great question.
Yeah, awesome. And just we got several more questions, and then we'll also move on to after answering a couple more questions, we'll do that $500 drawing as well for you guys here. But if someone's like, if they've heard what they need to know right now and they know they want more information, get in touch with you guys, do all that. What's the next step that folks should take on here?
So absolutely, that's a great question, Mike. So we actually have a promo just to kind of talk about this right now. It all ties in. So we do the gold tier pricing for any TMT customers. So you can save 35% off those individual licenses. But the great thing about this too, there's only a $50 minimum monthly spend. Normally that's $2,500. If they want to get more information, MSP at malwarebytes.com with the subject line, the TMT gold pricing, put information in there on the MDR. That way we make sure everything's coded correctly and we get you to the experts and the individuals that you can talk with.
Okay, and I'm throwing this in chat. So TMT gold pricing, right? What's on the screen there, throw that in there, and then they will get that. And you said $50 a month minimum.
That's right. Yep. This
Okay.
is unbelievable. Yeah. Normally $2,500. So pretty big.
And if you guys can double check what I just threw in chat, I'm not good at multitasking here, so I'm trying to type and put that in, but I think we got it right in that. So anything else on that before we jump back into some questions?
No,
Just do it.
On my end. No.
Okay.
come on.
Okay, perfect. So let's get into a couple more. We had one, we use Synchro RMM with this Malwarebytes MDR being an option to get from that.
Not currently, from my understanding. Now, if you look up Malwarebytes and Synchro, they do have they've built out a script to run our scanners before, but they currently don't have a we don't have a partnership where you can buy from them yet. I think we're in the midst of working with Synchro. I know we've had talks in the past to try to get through to them, like we do with, like, you know, ConnectWise and Kaseya and a couple of those other big partners. But you can install Malwarebytes through Synchro. I know that for a fact.
Okay, perfect. And before we get into pricing, we got several pricing questions in here, and then know there'll be a lot of tiers and a lot of different things. And then you guys just put up a special as well for the folks that are on here. But you guys went over a couple of the benefits, like out of the box, it's going to be easier set up. It's already, there's a lot less work on the user side of things. But your team had gone over also that you've collected, I don't know, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of data points from having been in business for so long and having that consumer side of things and taking all of that and bringing it to the MSPs. But before we get into pricing, what are the other things they should know about you before just comparing on price?
Well, I think the key features in particular for MDR, right, are this 24/7, 365 coverage. Like, that's extremely important, right? The threat hunting, as Jared and Eddie really talked about, having a specialized team of MDR analysts really going out there and monitoring and looking at this. This is something that not all companies are doing 100% of this, right? Like, it's more heavy on the AI side as opposed to having these experts that have that 180 plus years experience. Then the tiered notifications is extremely important. Being able to communicate this where we can handle something for you or have notification only. We understand your customers have very unique needs and your relationships with them, so we can kind of work in that space. And then just overall, right, it's those flexible remediation options that Jared had talked about. So it's a very simple product to use. We try to develop the partnerships so that it's a true partnership, not just a, hey, go sell as much as you can, we'll see you in a year. We want to really be a partner, and we really want to help you grow your business. So those are kind of key differentiators for us. So very easy to use, rapid setups, and we partner with you. We work together. So
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to stress that enough, that we use AI for the AI-based threat modeling, just to kind of, you know, add a little bit more to the scenario when if something were to get through, but it's those human eyes on the event, making sure that, you know, you're not going to get bothered with a false positive, to make sure a real life person is, you know, triggering that response.
Exactly. And again, that ease of use is huge. Like, that's something I have customers that, like, the second Gartner comes out with that's how they buy things, right? Gartner comes out with the MQ, they immediately go up, they buy whatever Gartner tells them to buy. And then a year later, they're like, so we bought this thing with all the information ever. And we're only using about 8% of the actual product. We're not really leveraging everything the product is capable of because we don't know how to. Now, we could pay that company more money and they'll tell us exactly how to do it, but it's going to cost us so much in overhead, we're not really going to make any profit. Where that's really kind of come into play for a lot of my MSP customers. They're like, oh, if I go to detections in Malwarebytes, it shows me my detections. If I go to downloads, it shows me my installers. Like, we've made it the UI as easy to use as possible that you guys can get up and running. I mean, I got clients that that are still on a 15-day trial and they're already ready to go. Like, they've already set up all their environment. They're ready to go live into production. It's just really, really simple.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful interface.
It's come a long way. Plus, another benefit is we have this lovely button called the sudden feedback button in the console at the bottom left. We actually listen to that. I've worked at companies before where there's a send feedback button. You type whatever you want in there. It goes off to a trash bin. Ours goes directly off to the product management team and the CEO of the company. How do I know it goes to the CEO?
Story.
Yeah, I know. I decided I was on a customer demo or a customer trial, and I was showing the fact that you guys are helping us build the tool for you. And I'm like, yeah, you can go in here, you put in what you guys would love to see in the product, and it goes off to those teams. I put in, I want it in pink. I accidentally hit send. 15 minutes later, our CEO Marson got a hold of me. He's like, "Are they asking for themes? Like, do they want themes for the console? Like, what's this I want it in pink thing mean?" And I had to explain to him, like, "Oh no, that was just me showing the fact that they can get a hold of you guys pretty quickly." So, like the guy who had asked about synchro, if that's super important to you, let us know. Because if we have 50 other customers asking for synchro, guess what? That's something we're going to put right into the roadmap and try to get that done for you. Because that's you guys are the ones using us every day. We don't want to end up being stodgy and be like, oh, here's what you're given. Good luck with it. We want to make it easy for you.
Okay.
I love that story.
Yeah, perfect. I do like I want to see them get 14 people saying they wanted it in pink there.
Right.
On that, it'll be priority number one with that. So a couple other, okay, yeah, we're getting good questions in now. So some specifics, how does it compare to Huntress?
Huntress uses Defender. That's the big thing. Huntress, great team, awesome team. They're pretty fresh on the scene. They'll leverage Windows Defender on your machine to actually do any kind of threat hunting, if you will, which can get a little bit weird, especially if you don't have E5 licensing, because as we know, like base Defender is kind of base Defender. It's only going to give you so much information. If you want the good stuff from Microsoft, that's when Microsoft ATP, you got to pay that E5 licensing, and that is pricey. But they do a pretty good job. But they're not levered. They're not building their own. They're not building their own detection engine, if you will, like Malwarebytes and Trend and Kaspersky and the rest of us.
Okay, perfect. Mario's asking, Malwarebytes work on Macs as well?
Heck yeah. So we run on everything from 10.11 up to Ventura. We also work on, we currently work on Linux as well. So CentOS, RHEL, Debian, Ubuntu, along with obviously Windows, anything Windows 7 and newer. We'll work on both servers and workstations. And come beginning of next year, we're having a really hard push where we're going to also start to support Chromebooks, Android, and iOS, all within the console.
Someone just asked if it supported OS2 Warp there, Jared.
Oh. Not quite. I had someone ask for Windows ME a couple weeks ago. They're like, "You guys support ME, do you?" I'm like, "What? Are you serious about that?"
Okay, so let's get in the pricing, then we'll do a drawing, and then I see a number of questions that are specific with different systems and things, so we will go ahead and answer those. But as far as pricing goes, because obviously that's a consideration, we're everyone on here are business owners. They're making business decisions with this. Can you give kind of that 10,000-foot view of pricing? What do they need? What do people need to know? And then if you guys have specific questions, either that MSP@malwarebytes.com to get in touch with someone and ask about your specific situation is probably the best way. But what should they know?
Absolutely. So the EDR license is a requirement for the MDR. So they'd have to make sure that that's been provisioned and is active. Then from there, it's actually going in there and enabling that service of MDR. We actually have a promo going right now through January for upfront pricing, which is $4, which is unbelievable because the EDR itself was going at the registered level for $2.50. So tremendous opportunity for profitability, but also a way to really get this into your business.
Okay. Other questions on that. So, I mean, from that standpoint, so being a, we're obviously a application and company that is trying to make everybody grow more money, all of that sort of thing. What do they do with that? What's the best way to get it in the hands of their customers? What are your best MSPs doing in order to add this into their stack and getting their people, say they don't have this currently, and then doing a cross-sell and upsell to this? And what are the best practices that these folks should know?
I can speak on that when you first become a partner, we actually have channel account manager that we introduce you to the necessary individuals for the add-ons or the services. So in that case, if you're working with an MDR, we'd have you work with the MDR team to understand kind of the unique needs of your customer. Are you rolling out to all of them? Is it going to be a specific site within that nebula? And from there, we basically model it, right? Jared and Eddie had kind of talked about the way that we handle notifications or even the remediation. Is this going to be a notification only situation, or are we going to be handling this for you? So there's a little bit of customization. We need to understand kind of the needs. And then from there, we tailor it and we continue working with you with whatever those needs are.
If I could just build on that really quickly, you can, it's a good opportunity to be a little bit transparent. As an MSP, when we were selling MDR, we essentially went to our customers and said, hey, look, the cyber threat landscape has changed. What we're doing now just isn't sufficient anymore. Attacks can happen at any time. They're getting more complex. So here's our choices. As an MSP, here are our choices. I can hire more resources to work overnight, to work after hours. We can generate new processes. We can generate new escalations, apply new SLAs, and build that out. And it's going to up our costs thousands and thousands of dollars. And we're going to have to pass that on to you, Mr. Client. Or we have this trusted vendor, Malwarebytes, that offers, better equipped resources than we could ever hire. They're going to help us out. And for only a few dollars per month per endpoint, we can provide the same level, if not better, attention. And so that was one of the strategies we used.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's see. Just before we get into the drawing, again, go to MSP@malwarebytes.com, subject line TMT gold pricing to get started, get your questions answered. We will go over the more specific questions on here, but want to thank everyone who has joined us today. We are not done yet, but want to get that $500 out. So what I've done, well, you guys have been answering questions, is I've taken everybody who is on here live with us. We had a lot more who registered, but you got to be on live to win the $500 that we're giving away with this. So I've taken you and just randomized you and put you in numbers. So we got 42 people who are on live with us. Can I get one of you guys? Or maybe I should just choose. So Eddie, you're on my screen right now. Eddie, can I get a number between 1 and 42?
37.
37. Okay. And I pre-numbered. So 9, 38, 37 is Rodelio Cecilia, or is it? Yeah, Rodelio Cecilia. You are the winner of $500 on here. So congratulations. So Rodelio, I'm writing your information down, but can you go ahead and put your email into the chat box? I'm going to do that so we can get in touch with you, make sure we get that out to you on behalf of the Malwarebytes team with this. So congratulations with that. And I'm writing it down just in case something crazy happens. So, and we'll figure that out. So congratulations on that. So let's go through some of those other question. Oh yeah, payable in cryptocurrency. I like that. So
FTT coin. Yeah.
yeah. I'll send it. Yeah, an FTX credit. So let's see. Now everyone's saying congrats. I've lost all my questions are flying. So it's other questions. NFR licenses, asking for a friend.
Yep, those are available as a
Okay.
partner. And we
Okay.
even do trials as well, if you want to do a trial for your customer.
Okay. Let's see. Is this replacing a solution like Solutions Granted?
Solutions, sort of. Solutions Granted, they do MDR, again, kind of on that huntress idea, the Arctic wolf idea, where they're utilizing another tool. They're just providing the MDR aspect, but they also provide a SIM. We would replace the MDR aspect and the SIM, or not the SIM, the endpoint protection aspect. Kind of the same, like if you're running, I think it was Rodelio asked about like Malwarebytes using, if you went with Malwarebytes MDR, could Malwarebytes MDR utilize whatever AV you currently have in place? The answer would be no. We would be replacing that antivirus solution on that machine with our own technology.
Okay, perfect. And Jared, I know you answered this question earlier via chat, but just in case others have that question, Sean had asked, does Malwarebytes EDR stack collect any network telemetry? If so, is it searchable, IP domain, URL?
Yep. So domain IP is searchable. So just inbound, outbound. At the current state, we are looking at gathering some more information. Like I can tell you, I can go search like an IP and tell you exactly what process made that call out. I can tell you what else that process may have been doing at the time as well, like what files was it creating, writing to, any other processes it was tied to as well, or files it was tied to as well. But yeah, you can see inbound, outbound connections within the console. Those are searchable.
Okay, then we get the question, I work with mostly non-for-profit verticals. Does Malwarebytes offer discount for nonprofits?
Currently, we do not, but there's pretty, the gold tier pricing is it's reduced pretty good, but definitely talk to us. We can reach out to me and we can talk a little bit more.
Yeah. You save 35%. Just tell the nonprofits that. We got you gold tier pricing. So there you go. Alan saying, how can analysts / SOC do remediation? I'm guessing they do not have remote access tool. So how do they go fix files and protect the network without access?
So they have some access through the agent, right? So the agent that you would install, the Malwarebytes agent, basically if they see a potential threat, right, and Malwarebytes has detected it, say it's suspicious activity, when they can go in and click remediate, it's basically telling Malwarebytes, okay, this potential threat is evil. Use your scanner, go target that threat and anything tied to that threat, kill it, remove it, right? They also have access to, we have a remote shell session that's built into the EDR solution that they can have access to as well. So if they have to manually go take care of a potential file or kill a process or gather a system event log, they could use that as well.
Okay. With Malwarebytes active on an endpoint, will Defender default to passive mode?
Nope, they'll run alongside each other. Basically, you can set Malwarebytes to be the primary AV on the Windows machine, or you can just leave Defender just leave it as is. Defender will take first crack at whatever's there. Malwarebytes will be following up.
Okay. Yeah. Peter's just making a comment. He said everyone should be rolling out MDR to every customer on there. So, and Peter, if that wasn't a statement, let me know what the question was, but I'm reading it as a statement on here. Now Thomas is asking, can you guys touch on reporting and deliverables?
As far as reporting from the console, I'm assuming. So the reporting, you got a couple different things. So obviously you have notifications. So anytime there's a detection, whether it be real-time detection, like Malwarebytes has already killed something, I can tell you like, hey, yeah, I just found this piece of ransomware. You can pick whether that comes in via email. We also will create a webhook. So if you guys want to put it into, like, I don't know, Slack, you can. You can do reports. The reports are going to be CSVs. So like what's been detected, what's been quarantined, event summary information, endpoint information. So if I want to go see like, all my endpoints in the environment, what operating system are they running? What's the current IP? Who's the last logged in user, software, installed patches. I can pull all that via CSV. You also get access. We have an Excel add-in tool, which leverages we have a full RESTful API with the console as well. So you can query anything you want. With that Excel add-in, you can go in there and be more specific. Like, I only want to see my Windows 7 machines, right? Or I only want to see clients that are specifically seen TrickBot, right? I can go query that information.
Okay. Let's see. I think you've actually answered this one, but I'll ask it because we've been doing quick fire. It says, does it require you to have Malwarebytes antivirus to use MDR, or will MDR work with other AV?
It requires Malwarebytes AV to be installed, or Malwarebytes EDR to be installed, the agent.
Yep. Mario's asking, are the members in your SOC managing the MDR all US based?
Now that question, I don't know 100%. I know that we are a global company, right? Our systems are held on the US, on the East Coast, and AWS. Our analysts, I think right now, the majority of our analysts are US based. We do have some in EMEA as well, and that number is going to be obviously growing as MDR grows. But if you called in from the US, you'll be put into the US area. So those guys are all running 24/7, 365.
Okay. Let's see. Aaron's asking, are you guys GDPR compliant?
Sure are.
Okay. These are easy ones here. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm loving these. This is
Yeah.
great.
Yep. No, good questions here. If you guys have questions that I missed, we had a lot that actually came into chat also. So if I missed yours, just please throw it back in. Here's another. We got a couple more that haven't gotten but two. But do you guys have business support services like templates or communication material to help pitch MDR as a business solution to businesses to avoid eyes glazing over from technobabble?
Yeah, we do. Don't I believe we do, don't we, Eddie, TJ? We offer some enablement where we'll be able to provide you guys like case studies and be able to provide you guys the material you need to pitch MDR, EDR, endpoint protection, IR, just Malwarebytes in general.
That's exactly right. When you first come aboard, you work with a partner success manager and a channel account manager that sets you up with all that information.
Yeah, obviously they grow when you guys grow. So yeah, they want you getting it out there. So let's see. Oh, Thomas added a clarification. So he was the one about like reports and deliverables, and you answered part of this, but if there was any more that you wanted to add, he was clarifying like reports that we can deliver to our clients to help build value.
Yep, I can see Eddie had put in there. Yep, we do the.
Yeah,
when you build out what we call OneView, which is the Malwarebytes MSP portal, you can actually do reports and schedule them out, and they're based on site. So each one of your clients would be a different site, and you can send them basically a top talker, like kind of a managerial style report. Here are the top threats. Here are the top machines with threats. Here's the top operating systems in the environment. Any machines that require any interaction, you can send that all to them in a white labeled report.
Okay. I think we've got everything. Then again, if I missed your question, please do throw it in now. Otherwise, any last words from the Malwarebytes team? First of all, want to thank you guys. We bring you this, we bring you our clients. Malwarebytes have been a consistent partner with us. I think for at least the past 2 years with MSP Success magazine, especially, and really grown in the community here. So, but any last things that you guys had to add?
I just appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, love the opportunity. Love the questions, guys. Awesome amount of questions. And, again, obviously go to the website, check us out. Again, you guys can talk to us anytime. More than willing to hop on calls, give you kind of an in-depth look at what the console looks like, how to use it. and how to become part of the Malwarebytes family.
Oh, hey,
Okay.
phenomenal question just came in. Can we address it real quick?
Yeah, we can do that. And then I just saw another one too.
So Jared, back me up on this one, but the question is, essentially it boils down to if the infection comes in the middle of the night, before the damage is done, do we do remediation automatically? And essentially when it comes to the MDR, you get to choose. There's some flexibility there. You decide what you want the SOC team to do. Do you want them to go ahead and isolate it and take remediation steps, or just alert you?
Exactly. And keep in mind, this is on the back end of a next-gen antivirus engine that does 99.89% detection rate, right? So anything that's caught within that next-gen AV engine, you don't have to do a thing. You'd get you could set up notifications if you want. It'll say, hey, we've just blocked this because it was ransomware, or we just killed this because it was malware. So there's really nothing to do there. If something does get through and it gets to the hands of EDR and MDR, like Eddie was saying, you get to choose how much interaction our MDR analyst has on your machines. So in the middle of the night, yeah, we went ahead and took care of that for you. Here's what we did. Here's what the threat was, all the details. So you get to pick that. You'll actually do an onboarding session with the analyst when you sign up for MDR, and they'll help kind of guide you in the right direction. Like, how do you guys want to do this? Are there any in-house applications we have to worry about? Right. So if you wrote a custom script, we're not messaging you at 3 a.m. being like, hey, I see this weird script that you wrote. Sorry to wake you up. You'll be able to tell them kind of more about the environment, and we'll be able to tailor it for you.
Okay, and I was reminded that some people are like driving, listening to the Zoom while they're doing that, so they can't necessarily see the screen. Keep your eyes on the road. So good for you guys there. So they can't see what's on here. So they're asking, did we cover price per agent and tiers and minimums and that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So as a TMT customer, you'll automatically go into that gold tier pricing if you just contact me, and we'll get you set up. That gives you some unbelievable price breaks on the point. So as an example, EDR for the registered tier is $250, drops down to like a little over $1 for the gold tier pricing. So a lot of profitability are in place. The minimum for this is only $50 instead of $2,500. So that's absolutely fantastic as well.
Okay, and if you are driving, you need to just remember MSP@malwarebytes.com or malwarebytes.com/MSP. And then do the subject line of TMT gold pricing. Now, TJ, maybe you can answer this. We're kind of springing it on you. I know you're saying TMT gold pricing with technology marketing toolkit and everything. We're running this. This is through the MSP Success Magazine. So not everyone on here may be a TMT customer. Can we extend these discounts to them if they're on here?
I will definitely do everything that I can. I'll talk to my team to make sure, but definitely we want as much business as we can. So please reach out and we'll have those conversations for sure. I can talk about the pricing that we have in place beyond that to give you an idea. So our registered tier, that's only $100 minimum spend anyway. And then the price point for an EDR is $2.50. So it's not like we're looking at thousands of dollars to get into our program. And you still have everything that we've talked about. You still have the ability to add MDR. So it's a really great pricing structure, especially if you're trying to grow and scale your business.
Okay, perfect. And then I'll just say, hey, become a TMT customer, get
There
bigger
you go.
automatic discounts,
Problem solved.
get all that
Problem
stuff.
solved.
But if you aren't currently, please do write into MSP@malwarebytes.com. They'll get you great pricing and workout options that work for you. For those of you that and that's if you ever come to any of our shows, if you've bought anything from us, done business, if you're I see a lot of familiar names on here who are active coaching members. If you have the toolkit or any one of, nearly probably 20, 30, 40 products that we've released over the past 20 years, you are considered a TMT customer. That doesn't mean you've been anything recently. So you probably got a lot of people on here who are TMT customers, don't even know that. So go ahead, and all you have to do is put TMT gold pricing. They'll get you that pricing in there with that. So I don't see any more questions. I think we answered them all. If you got any, yep, Nothing else has been entered. So once again, want to thank everyone for coming on today and joining us for these education series. Hopefully if you're not getting the MSP Success Magazine regularly, just go to mspsuccessmagazine.com. Make sure it's a free subscription. As long as you're the owner or managing partner of an MSP, we'll actually send you the print editions. Otherwise, we'll get you enrolled in our electronic editions. We put blogs out weekly. We have expert interviews all of the time. It's all dedicated to growing your MSP outside of what we deliver at like Technology Marketing Toolkit here. So make sure you're getting on those lists. And thank you again for joining us. So Eddie, Jared, TJ, thanks so much for being on with us, and we will see you soon.
Great. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having us.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Happy holidays all. Bye now.
Bye-bye.